Hey guys, so today we got a video on coon behavior. Not really raccoon behavior as in like, what they do at the sets or like, how they act different, baits and stuff. But mainly what this video is seeing how a bait station, a simple 5-gallon bucket with some holes drilled in it filled with corn and dog food and some other stuff, will actually affect the coon population of your area and bring them in closer. Now, you're probably looking at this little fella right here. This bait station I put out here has been out for, well, at the time of filming it was out over the course of about a week and a half, about 8 days, 10 days tops. But really what this video is doing, I'm not going to be telling you how to catch more, but, well, actually I kind of am, but what it's going to be doing is just showing you what the bait station itself does to the raccoon population in general. So, what I mean by that is, a lot of people don't want to pre-bait raccoons just due to the fact they think it's going to be a waste of time. They don't really get the concept. They think pre-baiting is actually just fattening coons up, give them a better pelt or something like that. Which, when you really think about it, if you do, feed them, for maybe 3 or 4 months at a time, it's high quality dog food. You could probably actually get the pelts looking really nice, but that's beside the fact of what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is how putting this bait station will be able to get you more raccoon numbers in an area and actually basically train them, and that's my phone going off, but anyway, that's something separate. So this right here is on about the 3rd night, and as you see, for the last 2 nights it's only been one raccoon, one little dink coon. But 3rd night, as you see here, or at least this is the 3rd night I think, but 3rd night we have 2 raccoons, and one on the side is actually really pretty decent sized raccoon. He's still pretty young, he's not a real big boar, but he's still pretty decent sized. And as you see, they're fighting over here, so I'm thinking they're either litter mates or possibly 2 rivaling boars. But as you see, it was only 3 nights before we actually got more than 1 raccoon. So, and we're just going to watch them over, this little course of time. And the coon feeder is a really simple concept. All this is a 5-gallon bucket with a snap-on lid, and you just, get a hole saw or whatever and just drill like 1.5 to 2-inch holes. I just got a jigsaw and cut little triangles about 1 inch from the bottom. And all I do is just fill this with cat food or dog food, or I actually did a mix of sweet stock feed that you'll feed the cows. I did a mix. It was about 50% that, 25% whole corn, whole deer corn, and I think it was like another 25% dog food, if my math is right. I don't know. Really, I just mixed a whole bunch of stuff together, and then I poured buck jam over it, persimmon flavored buck jam, which is very aromatic, and it really, I can smell it from a while away. So I put that out, and it drove them insane. So it really calls them in. So this is about 4th, 5th night, and as you see, this raccoon, I'm pretty sure it's the same coon. He always comes. I got this bucket. Lets me know that if I would go out right now, I would absolutely have at least 1 raccoon I catch. As you see behind him right there, you can just barely make him out. There's another raccoon. So 2 raccoons, and apparently they drug away the bucket, or my trail cam here was messed up. This trail camera, by the way, yeah, I think they were screwing with the trail camera, but the trail camera goes on a little 30 second, or is it, no, it's 10 seconds. The trail cam goes on a little, and we have a possum here also. Just do that little cut. He's doing his little, that's actually a pretty nice sized possum, Possums aren't really, valued very much, but since I'm the South here, and a lot of people actually eat possums, and I can get $5 for a possum. So, though you won't get a lot of money for fur, these, possums will help really pay off your gas or just little expenses or something. But as I was saying, I basically have at least 1 to 2 coons trained to come up there almost every night. And actually, as you're going to see throughout the video, just keep checking the time. I'm not sure what's going on here, but if you just keep checking the time, they almost always come out from about 9 right after dark Yeah, there's another possum. I think that's the same possum, but there's a possum there. The coon themselves almost always come out at 9, and they will stay out to about 3. And what else we got here? Just some still life. The feeder also affects birds. As you see, we have a cardinal right there. You know, nothing about actually trapping them, but it's just cool to see how, you know, a feeder will, you know, affect the local game population. So here we go on about night 5, I think. Forgive me if I'm messing my numbers up, but I really wasn't counting. So about night 5, I think. And I moved the feeder over, and if you can see over there, mid screen, you see something that looks there's a flag out there. It's a couple feathers, and I got it kind of like on a bobcat flag, and I just wanted to see what would happen. And the coons actually, there's one coon actually tried to grab for it, but they were kind of curious about it. But that's going to be on a different video. So, but I moved it over, and as you see, this is a much larger raccoon than the nights previous. So don't expect to just put one of these out and, you know, just let it sit for like 2 days and you have like these huge boars coming out. It takes a while because the little dink coon, they're going to find it first, but then after a while, the bigger coon, as you see, this is a pretty good sized coon for Mississippi standards. Some of you guys are like Minnesota or I don't know, Wisconsin are probably laughing at this because you guys have like those little 40-pound coons, so like bear cubs. But for, you know, what I do, for us, this is actually a pretty nice sized raccoon. But as you see, as I was saying, it takes a while for the bigger ones to come out, but once they get in, as you're going to see, it just keeps drawing them because you're going to have them coon scent around here. They want to know it's free food, and it's just going to be a hub because after a while the females are going to come. Female raccoons stay around, shelter, food, water. Shelter, food, yeah, shelter, food, and water. And as you see, there's a possum over there. But as I was saying, the sows, the dry sows or the wet sows, either one, they're going to stay around shelter, which are the den trees. They're going to stay around water, which this is by a pond, right? Literally, this is maybe 20 yards from a water side. And they're going to stay by food, which is this feeder. So they're not going to move very much if there's always food. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, when you think about it, let's put it in perspective like this. No, most people listening to this are going to be guys. So let me put it like this. You're a guy, you're lonely, looking for a date. Well, you know for a fact that the women stay in one particular place. Okay? So, instead of being able to, you know, instead of like wasting all your time going everywhere, you know that the women are going to be that one place. So, you're just going to constantly keep going to that place. And it's just going to be like a magnet to all the other guys. So, if you can keep the females, especially the hot females, during rut season in an area, the males, the big boars, the big ones that are going to get you the money, they're naturally just going to converge on that. So if you can set one of these out in the spring or whatever, when everything's moving, you're finding new den sites, and you can run it year round, because really it's so far, let's see here, a 50-pound bag of sweet feed costs me at my local co-op, 50 pounds of sweet feed is $10. 50 pounds of corn, just regular deer corn, is $10. It's $6 right now on Walmart since it's deer season. Some just cheapo dog food is maybe $5 for 20 pounds. Cat food is like $6 for 20 pounds. Let's see here, a bottle of buck jam is like a gallon of buck jam is like $7. You don't even have to use buck jam. If you can like go to a bakery, like if you actually bait bears, because I know a lot of people who may be watching this up in the north, they have bear baiting stations. If you can just take some of that and just siphon it off to a couple of these little buckets, it won't even, you know, take up half of your expenses. I mean, really. And as you see, it's just going to pay for itself, you know, eventually, because we're on night, what is this? Night 4, and there's a fly by my face, but we're on like night 4 already, and we have 4 more coons coming up. We have a bird right there, but they're just going to pay for themselves after a while, because really running these, you only have to refill them maybe once every week. They're going to keep coming back even if they're empty. You're always going to have those coon that come back. They're going to run on a circuit. Yeah, if y'all didn't know this, you can look up studies, but it's proven fact that most animals like raccoons or fox or something, they will run on a circuit. In other words, they'll run for, as you see, we got a much bigger boar right here, and real good. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I have these dogs, and they, my dogs needed me to let them out and feed them real quick. So anyway, back to what I was saying. As you see, we're getting even more coons. This is about night 6 at the moment, September 2nd. So about night 6, just being out. And we had this possum. Apparently he's trained pretty well. But as I was saying, most animals run on circuits. So if you get the animals, especially put these trail cams out and you figure out, a mean number, like if there's 20 coming, is at least 5 are going to come this night, that night. You can really learn how to hammer them down really quickly on a small trap line. And my phone is ringing yet again, but yeah, that's basically how it works. So got another nice boar right here. I'm not sure if it's a boar, but yeah, I think that's a boar. As you see, he's really nice fur color, and this isn't one we've seen before, I don't think, because his tail is a little different color. I think it's more of a blonde, but we got him coming up now. You see, he's much bigger than the other ones. So we're getting the bigger ones in now, and you see him staring at this flag I got. I want to try to do a video on how they react to like different sets and flags and stuff, but I only have one trail camera at the moment. So it's kind of hard too, because I'm running multiple of these. Well, actually, we got 2 raccoons now, which is interesting. And tell you what, let me cut off and go to this. If you're gonna put one of these buckets out, it might make sense to like drill a hole to put like a T-bar through it and stake it down in the bottom or something, in the mud or something, because basically raccoons, if you know anything about bear baiting with like the big 55-gallon drums, you basically have to treat this like bear baiting. I've never baited a bear, but they call raccoons little grizzlies for a reason, because they're like little bears, and basically they act basically the same way. So as you see, if you don't put this down, a big one like this, they're just going to pick it up and they're just going to move it, because the next day, I swear, it looked like a bomb went off. There was corn and sweet feed everywhere, and they're just really mischievous. They're going to move it if they want to. They feel they can move it, and it'll get them better. They're going to move it, chew on it, and that's how it's going to work. As you see the possum in the background, it's really interesting, because apparently raccoons and possums don't really have too much of a problem getting along with each other. Somebody once told me that if you have a lot of possums in the area, you're not going to be able to catch raccoons because they don't like each other. Well, from this footage, you obviously tell that doesn't make a lot of sense at all. But yeah, so this is night 7, I think, and I think under that bucket I actually put a little buck jam. I'm telling you guys, if you've never used buck jam, it's $7 for a gallon. And, or about a gallon, I think it's like half a gallon or something like that. It's about a little more than like a thing of orange juice. That's a very nice colored possum. But yeah, and it's a really good investment, because you just put some of that on the top of it and you just mix it in, and it's real syrupy. And I swear you can smell that stuff from 30 yards away. And I'm a human. Just a little scientific thing. A lot of studies show that most animals, their nose is at least 10 to 50 times more powerful than ours. So if you can smell something from 30 yards away, a raccoon's nose is probably like, I don't know. Let's say 5 times more powerful, because I'm not really sure, but 5 times more powerful just makes sense. And now we got 3 raccoons, 2 really nice ones. I'm thinking dink, but if I had some DPs out right now, I could definitely nail. I know for a fact I can nail at least 3 of these raccoons. Well, there's only 3 of them, but I know I can nail at least 2 of them, and I could probably get a pretty killer possum. But as I was saying, if we can smell it from that distance, it's a fact that they can smell it from way off. They can probably smell it from across the pond, because this little, it's not actually a pond, it's a small lake. It's like 100, about 125. Last time I was doing some shooting with my 22, and I think I ranged a can with my mil-dot scope. I think I ranged at like 250 from the furthest part of the pond to the other side. That's a very large possum, actually. That's a very nice one. Very nice coat on him. Actually, he wouldn't probably be too bad for fur. But yeah. And as you see, that big boar, there's actually dead trees going behind the camera. And the boars they're always coming in from the front of the camera, from what I know. From what I see in the tracks, there's always the larger tracks are coming from behind the camera, and the smaller tracks, I think are the females, are coming from behind the camera. And the phone is ringing yet again. But there are den trees behind the camera, so what I'm thinking is the boars, they already work the shore, but since they started to smell the females around more, they're more inclined to stay. So as you see, we're getting a lot more coon. So I've counted about 6 coons so far. So we know for a fact if we were to gang set this location just around the pond, period, because they're probably denning up around the pond. This is daytime footage. I think it's probably some birds or something, because I'm not really sure why I added. Yeah, that is I think that's a cowbird or a grackle. I think that's the technical term, a grackle. But as you see, he's enjoying the corn, and you also see that they had stole my feeder for a while. But here we go for another raccoon coming up, feeding. And here's what I was talking about, guys. This is on about the 8th day. 8th day of this thing being out, and we have a mom and her 4 kids. Now, personally, I wouldn't go after them because I just see more generations of raccoons to, breed and whatnot. But this just shows you that this really impacts the population. So now, if a fur trapper on my scale, I'm a pretty small scale, fur trapper. I'm actually a fur and meat trapper since I sell raccoon meat. Lots of people down here eat it. So I make more money off the carcasses really than the fur. But anyway, if you're looking at it from more of not just the fur trapping, but the control and just controlling the population and having to have a renewable resource like all trappers, I believe, should. That just just allows that raccoon to be able to, rear those pups or kits up a lot easier. So come next season, even if I do remove these boars, those kits probably would have grew up by then, and they probably would have had offspring. So each one of those may possibly equal maybe 3 more kits. So that's like 9 more raccoons off this feeder. So that's really what I want to show y'all. And as you see, there's the possum there. Yeah, that's like what I want to make y'all understand with this video. Over the course of only about a week and a half, 2 weeks tops, the impact a feed station will have on the local, animal population, the local fur bearer population. And my dogs are barking. But the local fur bearer population will really strive off of this. And it doesn't just have to be raccoons, because I was thinking that if you made one of these similar and you're in like Arizona or Nevada or something and you're trying to, target predators, hey, get it, fill up corn, set in some brush, and feed the rats. As small game and the rodents start coming up, you're going to have predators come around. It's just going to be easier to trap them. It's going to be easier on the animals. It's going to be easier on the prey, because there's going to be less of them. Their numbers going to be kept down, and there's going to be lots of food for the predators. So that's the end of this video. Some more cowbirds. So hopefully I get some more out. So later, guys.